everybody. Let's start. I hope 10,000 of people are listening. So welcome, we are very proud to announce the first live concert in the foyer from Radio Worm. And it took us a really, really long time to find the right people to do that. And so, the right people are standing next to me. It's Darlene and Joachim. And what are your artist names? Your name is Fuckboy, but I forgot your artist name, Darlene. Say something.
What is your artist name?
Darlene Valdo.
Yeah, well, Valdo is your real name. You cannot have your real name as an artist name. Sorry.
No, my real name is Leila Johanna Mihai.
Ah, okay. I didn't know that.
Surprised.
Oh, you told me everything now. This is also going to be streamed for people that like images. It's on the how can people watch this? Oh, it's later, eh? Okay, it's not being recorded. It's recording, and it will be on the Worm website.
It's gonna be like an after movie, just like
it's
the
an after
festivals of Europe.
And just like real movies, they are also not live.
Yeah.
They're
Some people
always
think
live. Star Wars is live.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't want to distract you from what you're going to do. So please
Thank you.
take the stage.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, well.
All right, welcome everybody.
Welcome to the audience
It's
that is
good
not
to
here.
be back.
It's super good to be back.
So we just want to take a step out of the performance first of all, and tell you all what we've been doing for the couple last weeks. We were so lucky to get in contact with all of you.
And residency at Worm Studio.
We've been here for like 2.5 weeks now.
Yeah.
And the idea was, because we are first and foremost artists, but we also like to do stuff. So we wanted to build and present something for you, because you have a background in machine building.
Yeah, synthesizer building for sure, and it was with that we were applying for at Lucas's fantastic synthesizer studio. To be able to create a lot of different kinds of inventions based on my deep knowledge of synthesizer interfaces throughout the years of experimenting with interfaces. And alongside Joachim was very kind to join this residency, because I really find your music very interesting and find it in some sort of way.
Thank you. I didn't know that. We talked a lot about before we went here that we have this overlooking image of synthesizers, instruments in this day and age being most of the time replicas.
Clones,
and in our opinion, the equipment at the Worm Studio is like the pinnacle analog synthesizer history, peak of the mountain kind of stuff. So it's, for example, it's kind of the recipe that a lot of new modern synthesizers find themselves building upon. And we want to be a part of this, of course, because we love history and we love music. So this residency has been about building and maybe reimagining these old but still very working recipes for instruments.
So this performance is going to be like a renewing representation of synthesizers, and it was also, as Joachim just said, like the interesting idea of creating or copying a nostalgic feeling for those, because a lot of engineers today who are very out there widen in the synthesizer market has a tendency of sticking to the old nostalgia. So they create like a whole new generation of synthesizer enthusiasts who are nostalgic, like wanting to play the Buchla, wanted to play the Serge, wanting to play the CS80, these kinds. And these are old machines, boring machines, boring mail interface, bad boring mail interface, boring.
So how are we gonna make this?
Yes, how are we gonna make this, Joachim?
We are gonna turn it into a comedy show.
A comedy show!
Let's go!
Let's go!
All right. Personas and personas, we now proudly present this company that's been on the record list Untitled Live for almost 54 days now. This is our 55th day of running this show as a company. We have
a company, a
manufacturing
synthesizer company.
Yes, Synthesizer company. And we have these amazing products that you can all watch and experience today. Some of them are gonna break, some of them are probably already broken. But the idea and intention is here.
We use our minds. We use our minds to now create these kind of interfaces that will achieve a much higher level of musical intriguement between you and your instrument.
The time of instruments are gone. It's about products. Integrity is out of the window. And we are out of the country. All right, let's get cracking. So, the first and foremost presentation will be the buckhorn.
404 series.
It's a wind-based instrument. So what you can see now in front of you in the radio, I will describe it very clearly. We have this amazing stand. It's like made out of the most robust metal you could ever imagine. It's like made out of titanium, welded, and bent to the needs of your positioning. It's like a triangle, pyramid, kind of half pyramid stuff that you can put your instrument on. Definitely a stative worth of this instrument that goes on top of it. By the way, the instrument and the stative are almost exactly the same price. So therefore, you won't really know what to decide on and then still buy it. But on top of it, we have resting.
It's like Bukla.
Bukla, the buckhorn.
Bukla,
A
the
lot of
buckhorn.
faders. You had something about the faders, didn't you?
I have about the smooth alpha faders.
The smooth alpha faders. Fun fact, you will
this.
never know what fader is actually the volume fader.
It is such a complex design and interface that you will use hours to even know how to turn it off. By that, you will forget because in the next generation, 2022, we have a tendency of everybody being very the confused people have a tendency of having our attention going strictly another direction. So we will just continue be playing the synthesizer, and within seconds, you will have maybe mastered the synthesizer horn.
I can already see someone in the crowd losing their attention. But luckily for you, we have nutrients with us. Just like a good company needs to run on a good thought and line of mind, we also have nutrients for our dear crowd. We have
The
3
comedy
people.
show
So
kitchen.
I'm just gonna be in the synth kitchen, the hardware kitchen.
This is the synthesizer
area here of
kitchen.
the stage you can see is most definitely not containing a computer because I'm preparing food over in this area. So there will not be a computer over here. So I can see you with the short attention span. I'm just gonna give you some nutrients and I need some myself. Here you go. So I'm just gonna describe to you in the radio. We have like on the hand side of the stage, there is some parsley, there's some parmesan, there's some cookies, very dry cookies, nutrient-based cookies. There's some potatoes, healthy cookies. We have a lot of healthy food here with us that we, during this radio show, will prepare for the physically able people who are here. Because what is radio if you cannot imagine the taste of
food.
actually being here? Okay, but should we present the instrument?
I think it's the time where we can maybe present an instrument.
Okay, well, I'm gonna try to present the instrument.
So Joachim has mastered this horn because this is the horn you have been waiting for a very long time. 3, 2, 1, play! Buckhorn 404 series.
Beautiful.
So-
man, that's beautiful, man.
So as you can see, it's a very expressive instrument that really builds on this rich tradition of, the most imaginative thought you could have building and preparing for a show would be to look at your arsenal of instruments and look at your mighty saxophone, the sound of the 70s, the sound of the 80s, and then have this genius idea and say to yourself, what if my saxophone ran on batteries? And that's where we're going with cars too. That's where we're going with cars too. Can you imagine? Right. So that was the Buckhorn 404 electrical wind instruments. We are still breaking the boundaries of what blows and what makes sound.
Yo, mate, there's time for a new synthesizer.
Time for a new synthesizer. What do you have there, darling?
We present to you. Let me have the music. Hello, Ranjit and Lydia. Welcome, welcome.
Welcome.
Come closer,
We have
come
so many
closer.
people joining the radio show.
We don't have any people joining the radio show.
Hello.
It's corona restrictions. We don't have anybody at the show.
This is all live.
This is all alive.
From
so,
where?
right now we present to you Sekhaven XYAO. This amazing sequencer, which is not a sound generating machinery. We move it a bit close.
That's one hell of a sequencer you got there, darling.
Thank you very much. It is designed with the idea of a pineapple, so you get intrigued to eat it and trigger it at the same time. So instead of being bored with the normal XYZ kind of sequencing, where we thought, oh, this is going to be great with these kind of few little boring axes. We have now, in collaboration with Niels Bohr's great granddaughter, created this new sphere of axes. So you don't only have X, Y, Z. Now you also have the additionally A, O, O.
The fourth dimension.
And the thing is, when you play this, it is so intriguing that you might want to add all kinds of different instruments to it.
Yep.
So we have, of course, also thought about this compatibility because we have the experience. Here you see.
Wow.
So we even have inputs for inventions that has not yet been invented.
So
wow, a more futuristic design you won't find.
What you see before your eyes in the radio is a pineapple-looking thing with a lot of LEDs. In the front, we got these two glaring eyes looking at you. It's a sequencer-based instrument. It's a plane-based sequencer. You know, the first sequencers were kind of linear, LEDs on a line. Then we got LEDs on a plane. Now we got LEDs on 4-plane, second-dimensionally. And in the back, as Delin just told us, there is heaps of connections. It's almost as connectable as something you would call Bluetooth or something. It has a lot of connectability. Right. It even charges your iPhone.
It can even charge your husband.
All right.
Now we will do a small presentation of what it might sound like when you sequence through the Sekhaven XYAO.
All right. So we're getting into the field of 4-dimensional sequencing. How are we going to do this? We are maybe going to take it 1 dimension at a time for the crowds?
I think 1 dimension at a time, so everybody can tap into how many dimensions that can actually be heard.
Yeah, so 4 dimensions, like, theory is like just things you decide on when you're done making great stuff. Then you come up with theory. And
play.
Yeah. So this is the first dimension. It's just singular, not modulated. You know, this is the sine wave. You know, you're sequencing it right now, and now you're just gonna add a 1-dimensional modulation to the sine wave. This is normal sequencing. All right. So we got some kind of sequential modulation to the sine wave on the sequencer, on the Sekhaven XYAO. But now we're gonna introduce the second dimension. Not a second sequence, but a second temporal modulation to the sequence, all right? We're gonna modulate the sine wave even more. Listen to this. So now we got a multi-dimensional modulation to the sine wave. We got the volume 2 as modulated, all right? This is 2-dimensional sequencing. Still basic. We got 2-dimensional sequences already. But in order to go to the 4th dimension, we need to go to the third dimension first. This is the third dimension of sequencing. We implement a multitude of modulative sine samplers. All right, listen to this. All right, we are getting places. We can even increase the depth of a modulation from this third sequencer. And we are really getting into some funky sequencers right here. And now in order to go to the fourth dimension, we will break the rules of this sequencer and introduce the modulation. Listen to this. There we go. All right. Keep on composing just to get like this can go here. We are already there. We can go like a lot of places sequentially wise, you know. And it's like really like take it out there. It's never been here before. It's like one hell of a sequencer, you know. So it's we kind of just thought of this because it's you normally want to do a complex compositions, but like only in the layer side wise. But we want really to have like built-in modulative capabilities of this sequencer because that is really what you want all in all. So that we can conclude early on in the design was to really go for this type of aesthetics, but we also are just it's capable. That's just one we want to try to say. Yeah, that's the Sick Haven. Right. Screw up on.
Great.
So we got new arrivals to the radio show, and I will just we don't have any arrivals, but I'm just gonna prepare some snacks for you all because we love our imaginary crowd. Ready for the snacks? Here we come, the snacks sending out. All right, snacks for you. Let's talk about what we don't do here. We do snacks. But when we were preparing the snacks yesterday, we started to play with the food because that's always fun when you're not hungry, but you're preparing food for someone else. And we ended up kind of having this like food session all of a sudden with kind of a percussive food situation. And we thought, wow, wouldn't it be amazing if we could like maybe turn this...
Play on fruit?
Play on fruit like that. We suddenly in the kitchen just... Oh, and I was throwing the fruit like, hey, catch this!
And the bit
throwing the food at each other like, I almost caught a cucumber there. You saw me. And it was like, wow, imagine if this could somehow be turned into a velocity-sensitive computer-readable signal, so you could kind of play the cucumber.
But then we thought, nah, that's too stupid.
Yeah, that's too silly. We're not gonna do that.
That's not gonna. Nobody's gonna find that funny.
Yeah.
That's too stupid. That's too stupid.
That's too stupid. We're not gonna do that.
No, we're gonna do that.
But and a lot of people write in also because you are very active on social media. I know.
Media social.
Yeah, and people have all kind of. We it's just to say that there's a lot of idea development behind these instruments. Like, for example, this bloke wrote us about if we could somehow, inside of the computer, make something that works and sounds like a cassette tape inside the computer, like a digital kind of cassette tape thing inside of the computer.
But then we thought, nah.
Nobody wants that, right?
Nobody wants that. That's too stupid.
Who wants that?
That's too stupid. Yeah, that's too stupid.
It doesn't really work.
I know.
I want it.
Yeah, that's too stupid.
It's really too stupid.
That's too stupid. That's outdated. That's outdated.
Yeah.
Who wants a cassette in 2021? What?
Yeah. Why would you want that?
Why would you be that?
Yeah.
That's too stupid.
And also materials like for us, cardboard is really, really pushing the limits material-wise. We have some cardboard things right here today, but that's because we are...
They just look like it.
Yeah. But we researched and...
We researched.
And at one point, we were about to build something out of wood.
We were thinking about like this kind of, okay, what if we made like a instrument where the front panel was out of wood and some of the components were also out of wood. So it like became like a module And we could like, in some sort of way, like name them after breakfast in order to make that more like intuitive and like friendly for the audience. And then we were like thinking, that's too stupid.
I mean, if it's gonna run on
wood,
on current in the end, and for example in Minecraft, the worst pickaxe you could ever imagine is made out of wood.
That's too stupid.
Why were we gonna build something out of wood?
Why would we even invent something like that?
On wood.
That's too stupid.
And speaking about wood, our next synthesizer runs on oil.
Oh, but what about the AI? We were researching also a lot on that AI synthesizer.
We have AI stuff coming up. We
do have an AI synthesizer made.
We did a lot of AI research lately. We have something coming up.
We have listened to a lot of Grimes.
Yeah.
And in that way, in order to get a lot of knowledge within AI.
Yeah. Grimes is AI. We listen to a lot of Grimes.
And there's a song where she's actually saying.
Yeah, in the beginning of the Neptune Goes Home album, she's like in the travesty of the world. She's like in the beginning, she's like, so thank you very much for the AI for mastering my song. It's super great, thank you. And she like praises the AI mastering, and we're like, wow. So that's kind of amazing.
Just imagine an AI mastering device. But then we were thinking, nah, that's too stupid.
It's impossible.
That's too stupid.
Yeah. How is it gonna know if it has to do like a 20-second Bee Gees fade in the end of your song, or if it's just gonna do a quick turntable stop, or if it's gonna how is it even gonna know how to fade your song out in the end? There's no way the computer can make those kinds of decisions.
AI is not that intelligent.
Yeah, so it's not gonna work.
Stupid.
It's just not gonna work.
That's too stupid. Speaking of that, we now have the presentation of maybe another synthesizer. If the audience go like, ha ha ha! Yes! We have now the next super ultra conductive Liquid 5000!
Liquid 5000 runs on oil-based synthesis.
3, 2, 1, go!
We're going to tell you all about the capabilities of Liquid 5000. It runs on raspberry-based oil.
Liquid 5000 is this amazing synthesizer. It can actually be triggered with nothing less than the super ultra conductive rapeseed oil. Not only cars runs on oil these days, and Liquid 5000 can be triggered with, yes, we have my assistant here. We just open the lid, and then you add the rapeseed oil. The audience got oil, and then you add the oil to it, and you can see you don't need any wires of this synthesizer. This synthesizer is a complete PCB wireless free. So the next level of it is just that you have your components inside the machinery. And in order to turn it on, you just take the plug and you play. And otherwise, you just use the fader to intrigue your sound. And whatever you want to do is just squishy, dizzy, bushy, no wires. Bluetooth is not needed. Oil is your friend today. You wouldn't imagine what else could be conductive. And just imagine, because this is so conductive, you can actually use this in your entire studio and at your synthesizer monitors. Just grab a handful of oil and pour it all over, and you will be conducting every single piece within seconds. Liquid 5000.
Yeah, when we looked into wood and all those other materials, we really found out that oil was a superconductor. It's a superconductor. And so it's just our wireless patchable design. You just put the components inside of the stew that you kind of want to use in your patch.
Yeah, look, it can even if it just takes this knob and you just turn it off.
It's just taking a law.
Yeah, just like that.
I'm gonna break this knob.
Great. And if Tisa just take this fader and just turn the volume up a bit. Yes, great, perfect. We have it running and pouring. And we also do have an example of sound.
Yeah. We're going to play this patch now.
We're going to play the patch. I will, because it's in collaboration with Joachim Mosgaard and dingelbell.
All right. So are you gonna plug it in? Here's the. Sorry, I'm just reaching on the floor. Kill the radio followers. Just something that resembles a cable on the floor. Yeah, we can just stick it in the oil. Actually, we're wireless. That's true. All right, that's true. Right. So we prepared the patch inside of the stew. The oil can be used forever. This is our old food oil, and now we're gonna play the actual patch. These are some very classical oil-based synthesis kind of sounds that you would imagine to get out of this kind of synthesis. It's quite peaceful, you know, comparing to the more combustion-based synthesis method originally used for oil the past century.
Amazing feature that you can actually play all around the synthesizer. It has knobs everywhere.
And you kind of have to imagine where you want to go, because it's not as a precise patching method as original cable patching, because you're like really like precise as investing. You know, I want my money cable to go there. I want to be here. This is more. You have to be more fluent in patching in order to do this.
And it has the magnificent feature that even if you drop some knobs, because it's wireless, you can play it from far, far away.
This patch is so.
I will do some snacks. I think they're running out. They're running out.
So I'm trying to figure out, like, if we have waves in the oil right now, I have to make some decisions. But if we are, I don't know how you never know until you open it, and then it's like it's repatched. So I need to.
I think there's a lot of reverb on right now.
Yeah. Okay. I need to adjust the reverb then. Just gonna come over here. Oh, there was the distortion puddle. I was in the distortion puddle.
Yeah, but you're also triggering with the different oils on your fingers.
Yeah, I think I spilled some oil on my phone. I just reached in my pocket, so now my phone is kind of in the circuit. It's really disturbing
some
a little
oil on
bit.
your feet. The feet on your oil is gonna trigger it as well.
I can totally tell from the patch that I have not really paid my phone bill lately, so it's really interfering with the patch right now. I'm so sorry. I was about to.
Oh, Lucas is also playing along on his phone.
Yeah, Lucas, careful. Just need not to get like oil everywhere. Just.
Heavy metal. Yeah. Lucas is playing. Whoa! He's interfering.
Oh shit.
He grabbed the oil.
I'm gonna put some. The only way to turn it off is to put potatoes in the oil, because potatoes are like like they do the osmosis thing, which really fucks with the circuit. And we're just gonna drop a potato in here now and get it over with. 3. Right. So that kinds of seals deal. Right. That's oil-based synthesis for you all.
Oil-based synthesis, rapeseed oil, your oil.
All right. Well, you need a lot of imagination to actually get into this kind of synthesis. So now, for the sake of keeping the red thread throughout all of this, we're gonna go back to some innovations that are very before our time. We're gonna go back to the times of the aviation. What was it? The aviation revolution. We already knew how to fly, but two Americans claimed to also do it now before everyone. I don't know what, but we have a plane. Everyone in the radio. We now have a flying machine in the studio.
So now we will introduce
The
Synthesizer.
It combines the two greatest innovations of the past century: aviation and electronics.
Synthesizer is your gliding oscillation. You can throw it, you can hear it, and you can have fun with it. Just imagine, LIGO is not what it used to be. It is now so much more fun because this is actually wired up. This is an actual synthesizer that will generate sound when you throw it.
The Synthesizer uses technology from the aviation industry. Using the source of one black box from a commercial airplane, we can retrieve the flight information and convert it into CV and MIDI information through our Smart Captain algorithm. Therefore, we can have a sound generation from every flight.
Every flight. And now we have the strong force inside of us that we want to include you in the process and the presentation of this synthesizer. This synthesizer is so easygoing and so easy to handle that we can give it to anyone and they can create an oscillation. So now we will ask one of you extraordinary non-people to the audience, because we are not having an audience here, to be able to throw it for us. Thank you.
Fly the plane, fly the plane. We have just now Dalin is walking out of the radio studio to find a person that can try to fly this machine for us. And before the flight, we will just play a recording we did earlier this week. The first flight of the Synthesizer.
So Mariette has the Synthesizer right now. Mariette is amazing. Mariette is resistor, manager, and everything. She creates a platform for synthesizer women, and it is incredible, honorable to have her to throw our Synthesizer. So now we just fly. Yeah, you will just throw it, and it will fly.
But not just fly the plane.
But not right now. Not right now. We will just let a little presentation of the sound of how it can sound like when it's flying really far.
Okay. Here is the first flight of the Synthesizer. It's before the flight, and around here, woo, is the flying, and it's going up and up and up, and climbing down. This is on a rainy day in front of Worm on the street, and now it's climbing up again, hitting a hot stream in the air. Slowly descending, almost crashing, avoiding a bike, getting low to the ground, over a skate hop. Now we're in the park area. Oh, and we landed on a car. Yeah. So that's the first flight of the Synthesizer earlier from this week. That was
the first flight of Synthesizer. Now we will try the second flight of the Synthesizer.
Yeah.
So Mariette, just when I count on 3, you just do whatever you have in your power and just like throw. You have to throw it with a lot of energy, because then it will fly by itself. Okay? And then start generating a sound. It has an inner speaker, so it will generate the sound. So you just throw it with a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Right just across the room. That would okay. So are
Are
you ready?
Just throw it.
1, 2, 3.
Oh. Well, it's kind of awkward. It didn't really make a sound, did it? It's well, it's not a toy. It's an instrument.
It's actually an instrument. You screwed way too hard, Mariette.
It's a very intricate instrument. Well, I think we can still retrieve the black box. I mean,
but
don't worry,
it's
like
completely like the wings are off.
so. The plane just crashed in the radio studio. Very dramatic flight, last flight of the Synth glider. And I mean, we built a lot of other instruments, but we kind of underestimated aviation when we started out. None of us have a lot of experience in aviation, so this was like maybe half of the time we spent on the Synth glider actually, and the other half was just on the other instruments. Okay. Yeah. But can someone give me the black box from the Synth glider? I mean, we should at least hear the flight. Yeah, the black box. It should be in there somewhere. Yeah, you totally. Yeah, but thank you for the flight.
Thank
give
you,
a big hand to
Mariette.
Mariette for the flight.
Give a hand for Mariette's beautiful catch.
You can't expect everything to work. I mean, because they are so new, these instruments. So
it's a prototype.
It's a prototype.
Yeah, it's a prototype.
Yeah. Okay.
So we know for sure that Mariette cannot write the synthesizer.
So I think we have I just plugged it in and converted it with our smart captain algorithm, and we have some MIDI to show us for the radio. Yeah, there's information here. So
Great, Maria.
Yeah, that's the power of the black box. I mean, even when the flight cancels or crashes, there's still info in the black box. That's amazing. It's more retrievable. Okay, so we're gonna listen to it.
That was it.
Wow.
Thank
What
you
a flight.
for the flight.
Yeah. Thank
Mariette.
you. Give a big hand. Synth glider. All right.
So now it's going to be very interesting because do you also have a tendency of having too little memory on your devices? Too little sample memory here and there. Every time you want to do some cool drum beats, out of sample memory, just like that.
Yeah, we're highlighting a problem that is much more normal than crashing your synthesizers on a desperate flight inside the foyer of Worm. This is a much more normal problem.
Much more normal problem, and that occurs to everybody now and there. Because now we also do animations with 600 terabytes per second. So that's why, you're gonna lose a lot of memory very quickly. Mm-hmm. But luckily, we have a prototype. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. It's the... Hey, it's the TB400. Don't get fooled by the apocalyptic design of this machine. It is a necessary commodity in the modern day of production in the studio. This is a quadruple hard drive setup, which means it has a hell of a lot of memory. It's a normal sampler. Don't get too excited, but it has 400 terabytes of sample memory, and it comes with a 120 gigabytes of included sample library provided to us by the legendary Danish sound artist Saus Gunvar Ryberg, who has sampled every corner of the Danish city Hardersleben and turned it into swish and percussive samples for us. All right. So, how does it work? Well, we're gonna get technical now with you, because in order for this quadruple hard drive setup to actually be effective, we invented a new file format, the shard type file format, which actually enables us to spread out the sample file over numerous shard files that are spread across multiple of drives. And with one single reference file, we can collect the shards and build the whole sample from a lot of different shards. It's a multiple hard drive computing right there. And this gives us the ability for a much more temporal control of the sample, and also to increase the effectivity by decreasing the workload of the sampler. There you go, the TB400. Okay, so how do you normally like present a sampler? I mean, it literally just has sounds, right? That's the thing it does, and it has it has some special sounds, I guess, and it has a lot of sounds. It has like thousands of sounds, I guess. I mean, that's the only thing it does.
It has millions of sounds.
It has millions of sounds. That's
and you can delete them all.
You can delete them all, and you can fit even millions again in it. So what it is, we made a sampler that is bigger.
That is very big.
It's very big.
So you will never lose sample memory.
Okay. If we're gonna listen to some of the samples, maybe.
I think so.
Okay. Well, here's the bongo collection, and here are some.
Oh, I patch it. I'll just let me patch it.
Yeah. Here's some human samples. Here's some I don't know, some ambient samples. So as you can hear, it has a lot of samples. It has very many. It has so many samples. It's just this is some vocal samples. It comes with all these samples. Wow, it has it's really a huge sample library. It has definitely a lot of samples in there. Maybe we can even fit more samples in there, do you think? This is a lot of samples. Maybe it has this. These are some of the samples from Hardersleben, like the cityscape samples it's been turned into like these swooshy percussive sounds. It's and we're only like in the top of the sample folder right now. There's so many more samples to actually be here. We were only like discovering the top of the sample berg. The top of the sample berg. And think of it like this is 120 gigabytes of samples we're going through right now, but if it has 400 terabytes, then it's like less than 1% of the space actively being used, I think. Should we listen to some more samples? Yeah. Okay, we're going to present some more. That's actually a good question. Not many people live in Hardersleben. It's a small town, so actually there's more samples here than there's Harderslev in Harderslev. Actually, so there's a lot of samples here. It's a small town, South Denmark, South Danish town. A lot of schools are moving away from there. It used to be a school city back in the day. But now it doesn't even have a rail station, you know. It is a joke that a lot of people drive in Denmark. I learned to bike just a few days ago, like coming here. But listen to these samples. It has a lot more samples. It seems to be an endless sample library. I mean, how inspiring is this for like the musician? You can just go on forever, make forever music with this. There's so many samples here. I mean, I don't need to. And they're organized very well. They're organized alphabetically, and they're organized according to how long they are, and they're also organized to how large they are, and they're also organized to the opposite of alphabetically, so like from C to A instead of from A to C. And they are also organized like you have folders, so you have like sample folder 1, and you have sample folder 2, and sample folder 3, and sample folder 4. So there's a lot of organizational perks about this sampler, I think, and it has a huge sample library. We are very proud of that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was a very practical instrument for a very practical problem that you often have in the studio. It's like I can never forget how many times I ran out of sample memory. How many?
I have just made a giveaway.
Yeah.
A giveaway for the sonologist, because I think sonology is very, very based on samples.
Yeah, it's sample based.
It's a very sample-based department.
Yeah.
Very sample-based.
So the sampler goes to sonology.
1, 2, sonology.
Soul to sonology.
Hey. We need it back afterwards, though. Okay.
And from the presentation, you think for the radio audience, you think the sampler is too huge to fit in the tram to Den Haag, but actually it does fit in the tram, so it can go to Sonali. Oh, what do you have there?
I forgot our little mascot. He was sleeping in the back. Oh, little
Amazing.
mascot. Yeah, this is Dino Electric O2. Oh, he just woke up. Oi, oi, oi. Hi, Dino.
That's the trusty mascot that's been with us for the 54 days that we've been active as a synth building company.
Entire 54 days. It's very reliable. Oh, yeah. How do you feel, Dino? How do you feel? What? Yeah, he just woke up. But Dino Electric O2, he's a very cute. He likes attention also. Yeah. And And we found him. He was just a stray Dino in the streets, and we found him, and he was just like biting us very hard. But then we became really, really close with little Dino. We gave him a lot of buttons and some wings, and now he has achieved like a cutesy state of mind, and he's very, very he's very friendly. Yeah, you should all meet him. You can pet him.
I already met him. I like him.
He just like you. He's not saying anything.
So Dalin is walking around the radio studio with. I have a friend in Denmark who works at the landfill, and we asked him, "Hey, do you have some old electronic stuff we can bring to the Netherlands when we're going? Because we really want to have a buildable situation." So they got us like a box of old electrical stuff, and in there was actually this working dinosaur that really just charmed us a lot. And it's very functional, but it's not a synthesizer. It's just the mascot. It has opinions, great inspirational opinions about a lot of our productions.
Always very honest.
Very honest. I was super fascinated by the 808 drum machine that is up in Worm Studios, because I listened to a lot of festival trap music with the huge 808 drums and that amazing bass sound. And I've been just so into trap music lately, and all the cars driving by in my hometown, there's like heavy bass, trap bass lines coming out of the car. And I was super excited that they have a real 808 drum machine in the studio. So I was composing my own trap beats, and I just got I got super. I was actually a bit disappointed because it's not real. The 808 is it doesn't really make that trap sound come true. So my first goal when I hit the bag from trap music and stuff like that was to buy a real 808 to actually make it for real, but it doesn't really sound like the trap beats that I could imagine in my head. So Dino Electric was there by my side when I was shedding a little tear on the 808 by myself, and was like, "Hey, but you're not touching the tempo. It has like the biggest tempo knob in the whole world, this machine. You're not even utilizing this function that you're using. The tempo control was just off the hooks." So we started. Dino Electric was just like reaching out with the little chicken wing and be like, "Hey, I can do the tempo for you." And suddenly we had a much more interesting go on the 808 drum machine, because the tempo we were what is it? It's I look this way right now. Classical music. They have the tempo thing going on. They have the tempo. They think about it. And it's amazing what kind of reach there is within tempo in electronic music. So, ladies, personas and personas, there is this great
We are
innovation.
a feministic synthesizer firm.
Yes, sir. Yes, person. but okay, sorry.
White men.
This is an innovation from Dino Electric also. It's the crank, and it's a non-manual based physical tempo knob instrument with a very smooth alpha fader.
So it's always for people who has a very difficult time of like turning knobs that are too small.
Exactly.
And those kind of things.
My kind of problem.
Instead of like being like limited down to only being able to turn a knob, Do you have a handle? This handle, yes, Dino. This handle is made with like the shape of true electronic musician's hands. If you're ever in doubt if you're a true electronic musician, you can always turn the handle and see if the handle fits you. It's very, very, very interesting in that way. It's both a personality test and a very interesting tempo device.
Yeah, with one super smooth alpha fader, you can decide the rounds per sample, the rounds per
And
minute.
MIDI?
And it has the MIDI output.
MIDI.
But it was actually on it like for a couple of days ago, and we did some recordings with it with the
But
drum
it
machines.
runs on oil as well, so it has a tendency, like the MIDI might be in the studio right now. But
So-
it still works.
And we're gonna play some cranked music for you, I guess. So this is the 808, but with tempo control. It's here. Okay, so this is normal drum machine, but then we really start to crank it here. We really start to crank it here. This is the what do you call it? It's a normal, it's the tight beat, but then we really start to crank it. Then we go into the crank. And then this is still a very tight beat, but we then start to crank it. There we go. Now we have the temporal, the rhythmic finesse of classical music within reach of even the oldest sequencer of our time. We have the temporal variation ability within reach of even the oldest sequencers of our time. You can now crank the tempo, really just get in there physically adjusting to yeah, it kind of explains it, doesn't it? But it's a great vision, and we have many things. I mean, in common with the crank. I also think there's like the 909. Yeah, kind of the same machine, just older. So we have a variable tempo.
I have a joke. I have a joke.
You have a joke?
Okay.
We can do slight tempo adjustments to be. It's very subtle.
I have a joke. I want to tell. Okay. So every synthesizer comedy show needs, of course, a joke. So Vincent, you do electronics. So an LFO walks into a bar. Yeah. The LFO walks into a bar, and then what does the LFO say? There's a lot of I want a beer, I don't want a beer, I want a beer, I don't want a beer, I want a beer, I want a beer, I want a beer, I don't want a beer, and then you go crank it up, I want a beer, thank you. A true synthesizer joke on a synthesizer comedy show. Thank you.
The LFO joke. I want a beer. I
don't
kinda
want a beer.
want a beer. I don't want a beer.
And therefore, Joachim, I have an idea.
Yeah. What is that?
Stop the fucking old drum machine now.
But we had not even
Fuck
reached the
909.
707. This is the 707. This is the 707.
Fuck 707.
It's the
Sounds
707.
Like 909.
This is the Casio.
I think it's time to present another synthesizer.
Another synthesizer. Oh, yeah. The next synthesizer.
We have made so many synthesizers, and because we are engineer, I have very bad memory. We have written a set list.
We have written a set list.
And we come to the last synthesizer that we build now. And this one is a hell of a synthesizer. This one is made on quantum field. Ow. Quantum field. Field theory.
So for the listeners, Dalin just broke her front teeth. her cane with the microphone.
I just broke my front teeth. It's because I'm doing like this, and this is quantum field. It's a very good time to say quantum field theory while you beat yourself with a microphone.
All right.
It's the oil. It's the oil. It's the oil. All right. So we need some presentation music for it, of course. And of course, we are very conducting and everything. It's the Thank you.
Woo! The quantum field! Even a bigger announcement than Windows 11! Boom! What a synthesizer! Have you seen something like this with your own eyes before?
This is Quantum Tree. Quantum Tree is a synthesizer like no other. It runs on faders and knobs and quantum energies.
Quantum energies.
Quantum energies can make you transcend into another being, because this one has a function where you attach yourself to the nearest by trees, so the brain waves of the tree, and you become one.
With the tree, are you gonna play it?
You are going to hear a magnificent, transcending piece of presentation within seconds where I transcend into another dimension. It has the ability of not even transcending you to one, but actually 4 other dimensions. Just imagine 4 other dimensions with the nearest trees. What an adventure, what a travel. Now you will see what that looks like and hears like.
I'm just gonna prepare some snacks over here. Wow, so right now Dalin is playing the quantum tree in the studio. It looks like a tree for all you listeners out there. And it has... I think Dalin is locking on to the frequencies of a nearby tree. So we are gonna hear the sound of a nearby tree interfering with the quantum field of this machine. This is the sound of a nearby tree getting into the synth waves. We are catching on to the quantum field of a nearby tree. Oh, Dalin is really struggling to hold up to. I think we lost the tree. I think it was a sewer rat. So these are the what do you call it? I don't know. I'm a DJ. It's not a genre, but you call it. It's like a landscape, but with music. Imagine like a landscape with music, and this machine can then also not only look at the landscape, but kind of be in relation to the objects you have in a landscape, like a tree, like a fence, like a little river, like small stones, all the objects in a landscape. It can that's how I would I would describe it that way. We're just gonna go on the fader, and now just in time for the last synthesizer of this show. We're gonna present it in 2 minutes. We're gonna present it, yes, because in 2 minutes the show is over. We actually have 60 seconds. So here you go, very fast presentation. This is the AI we talked about. It's the most evil synthesizer we could ever come up with. It's created from the depths of the forum of the internet. And I now I'm very not happy to present this, but it's like an AI that composes music based on data from composers. And the only composers, this is not such the best thing.
It's a prototype.
It's a prototype. You need to speak into the microphone. We have only composers.
Papa
from
AI.
all right.
Papa, it's the oil. I'm gliding.
Definitely.
The Papa AI is a prototype of us trying to create a machinery that can play beautiful little delicate sounds of music based on all kinds of classical composers.
Trouble is, the only data we could find on composers online was the white composers, like all the Schuberts and the Schunderts and the Wilberts and the Mozarts and all that. So it's a very biased product, and we are not very proud of it. And you had like an idea for the presentation, Dalin? Because we're just gonna play some music from it. Because unfortunately, it actually quite makes music. It's kind of good, you know. Listen to this. It's not the best. But it's AI generative algorithmic sounds, very biased.
It's very mansplaining.
1 minute, 60 seconds, 30 seconds until we're off. You need to speak into the microphone.
I think it's annoying.
It's
No. I have a hammer.
you have a hammer. Are you gonna improve on the synthesizer? Dalin is right now improving on the design of the synthesizer by really adjusting it to the situation of the real world. We are smashing the synthesizer. Fuck Beethoven. Fuck the Schubert. Fuck Mozart. Fuck Tchaikovsky. This biased crappy synth is not gonna change the world, even though it has some funny technology in there. It's like algorithmic and AI based, but it's not gonna change the world because it's still built on very old techniques, and I'm still a very old white man talking about the synthesizer. So already there we have like this kind of situation that's always going on. But Dalin is totally destroying the synthesizer. It's getting smashed to pieces. There is no resemblance of. I would not like to be the data of Mozart right now, because I'm actually getting kind of smushed. I'm kind of getting into a state of my bitrate is greatly reduced as like the data envelope is really not existing anymore. I think the synthesizer is destroyed forever, which is maybe where it was going from the start. A very biased product here again, very biased product. And it is sad that we cannot move forward and not let go. Like this was the only data available. I think she's talking about the patriarchy that's just inside of this synthesizer. Even though it's based on new technology, it's super patriarchal. So Dalin has left the studio in anger and has totally destroyed the resemblance of the Schubert accelerated synthesizer. And Dino Electric is also very annoyed, actually super pissed because of this very old-fashioned, dressed up new kind of not really moving anywhere AI. But and also it recognizes my face only. That says a lot, doesn't it? I think it's very good that this synth is now gone forever. And thank you for listening and being a part of the show. And we'll definitely be back with more in the future. Thank you. This was.
Thanks a lot, Joachim.
You're so welcome. Here you go.
It was a great show, Joachim. Thanks. Hey, one little question, huh?
Yeah, totally.
I really love the sound of this last synthesizer. Do you think you can kind of adjust it a bit back? Slightly bring it back together again?
You have to see beyond or hear beyond the sound. I think
it's very emotional. It's very emotional.
Like some music is made by, for example, murderers.
Yeah.
And back in the day, I was like,
Mansplaining.
Oh.
Thank you.
It's not going to happen, huh? Yeah, let's end the show. Put something else on, Lieve. Thanks a lot.